I'm so glad you're here. Let's start. Well, hello, everyone. It's Julie Halston, Virtual Halston. Well, thank goodness. Jane Hughes is already here. Hi, Jane. Stick with us, Jane. We have a surprise for you. Virtual Halston, Season 2, Episode 2. And we have the great Margaret Cho with us today. We got so many wonderful comments about having Bill Irwin on last week. That was such an incredible show. And I love that I have Margaret Cho on this week. I have such an honor to be working and talking to such incredible artists. But this week has tested the patience of saints, hasn't it? And I don't have any patience. I cannot believe what is happening in this country. I think there might be a little bit of a video that can tell you how I've been feeling this past week.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Well, that was me Tuesday night. And then it was me last night listening to our crazy leader. I felt like maybe someone had given me acid. Yeah, LSD acid. My mind was blown. It was just crazy. But that's okay, because we're all here together. And we have Margaret Cho, the brilliant artist, activist, humanitarian, human. I love Margaret so much for her humanness. She's a human being. Hello, isn't that something? And can we bring on another one of my favorite human beings? The unflappable Jim Caruso. Where is he? And there he is. He's laughing already.
Unflappable. Oh, I've been flappable this week. Oh, I've been flapping like a chicken.
My jaw could not get any more slack.
Even with all the
work. Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. No, it's been like my stomach has been weird all week. I've never had more Pepto-Bismol tablets. It's a very tense thing. The one good thing I'll say, because I'm obsessed with CNN, and the people on it.
Yes.
Do you find, I go to sleep with these people.
Yes.
I wake up with these people. They're still on. It's the same people in the same outfits.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm dating Steve Kornacki. I'm not.
Well,
sure.
Take a number, darling. Take a number. A lot of people are dating Steve.
I know, but I feel like I've seen more of him over the past few weeks than I've seen people I actually have dated.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Steve Korsnacki is the new nickname, apparently.
I know. My friend Nick Adams called him that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. But I actually am in love with Van Jones.
Oh, yes. He's great, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Oh, why isn't he with me right now, Van?
Well, we have a surprise for you, Julie.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Van?
Yeah, Van.
Van, I have a surprise for you.
Yeah, I have a big surprise for you.
I've been so kind of manic that I've been cleaning closets like a lunatic. I've gotten rid of stuff. Housing Works thinks I'm dying. I think they're like, are you on your way out? Because there's going to be nothing left.
Wow.
In my apartment.
Well, good for you. But you know who I'm obsessed with a little, and is she on CNN or MSNBC or both? I don't know. Is the very good work that Gloria Borgia has had.
Love her.
She's had very good work. I mean, I don't know if it's Pat Wexler who's doing her filler, but I'm just giving Pat Wexler a shout out. But somebody who's doing her filler is doing a remarkable job. Yeah. No,
These people never sleep. How do they look good? They never sleep.
Because they have injections, and maybe right there at the studio. I don't know, but it's quite remarkable. Yeah.
And they used to have hair and makeup there, but I think they're all doing their own now.
They're doing their own, because I have noticed that Nicole Wallace, sometimes her hair looks absolutely beautiful. Other times you're like, you just woke up, Nicole. Good for you. Yes, you're on the air, but you just woke up. It's okay, Nicole. We're with you anyway.
They're
So,
unbelievable. The energy those people have and the knowledge they have, even the people we don't exactly love, they have vast amounts of knowledge.
well, when I used to watch my late husband do the news, and there'd be a breaking story, it was so remarkable. And I'm telling you, it was very sexually exciting, I have to say, because he was so sexy doing it. To see Ralph gathering information, relying on his own knowledge, doing things on the spur of the moment, extemporaneously speaking about these amazing events that were unfolding. It was like that wonderful scene in Broadcast News, the movie, when, Bill Hurt pulls Holly Hunter near him. But that is what it was really like. It was alluring. It was really, it's alluring. It's wonderful.
It's very impressive that they can do what they do. And the guys in front of the magic boards, they're mathematicians. They can add and subtract at will. Very impressive to me.
Yeah. No,
major.
that's where I would be so lost. I would be like, I don't know. It's a lot of votes, I guess. Yeah. It would be sad.
I just lost my sound, which is why.
I'm hearing you
there
now.
For a minute.
But what's also remarkable are the people that watch this show. And one of them we want to give a shout out to is Jane Hughes. Where are you, Jane? Because she is not only
you just stand up, Jane.
There she is. Look at her. She's got her wonderful Darling Cup, which, by the way, guys, the Darling Cups are being sold at the what is it? The ye old shoppy.
Ye old gift shoppy.
There we go. PajamaCastParty.com. Jane was also in her pajamas with her cast party t-shirt and her Darling mug. And I can tell you right now, too, Jane Hughes is one of the great humans that I've gotten to know just in this last year through the global pandemic. And she's just fantastic. And there she is. She's watching us. And we love you, darling. So why do we do this show? Other than to make sure that I put earrings on. Yes, we're doing this because we want to keep you entertained. We want to bring you great guests like Margaret Cho, great conversation, some laughter, but we also give a portion to the charity that's near and dear to my heart, the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. And I must tell you, I just sent a check to them, from here, and it was such a great feeling. And they are so gobsmacked by this, and I'm so gobsmacked. So please feel free to text the Venmo and the PayPal. There we are, Julie-Halston via Venmo. And, no donation is too small nor too large. And we know that this is a difficult time for everyone, but if you can, $25, $50, whatever, that would just be so sensational. And
isn't it great to feel like you're doing something in the middle of all of this?
It really is. And, patients and caregivers that are struggling with pulmonary fibrosis really do appreciate it, because believe it or not, these are the kind of things that actually buy oxygen canisters for people. No joke. They need oxygen. And with all that's going on in the world, when you can't breathe, that is about as elemental as it gets. So please feel free to tip us, and so that we can keep bringing this show to you. So now, darling, we did get a lot of feedback about the wonderful Mary Schneider. Can we bring up Mary Schneider, Ruby? And Ruby, where is Mary Schneider? Because she's Australia's queen of yodeling.
Oh, well, she looks like a first lady.
She really does. A first lady from the 1980s, the hair alone, but that Arnold Scazzi kind of look, or it's kind of what I looked like in Tootsie recently on Broadway. Between the hair and the gold outfit from William Ivey Long. It's really incredible. and I think I just can't get enough of it. I listen to it at night and I just giggle like a schoolgirl. I just can't get enough of it. Ruby, can we hear the latest cut that I sent you? Yodeling the classics. No, I can't get enough of it, Jim. I know you're not so on board, I don't think.
When will you get enough of it? Because I can come back.
Julie, are you trying to kill me again? That's Eden Tuckman. Hi, Eden. How are you?
I wonder if there's anybody out there that does yodel, because I would like to bring them onto my pajama cast party just to entertain Julie.
Well, by the way, they want to know if they're yodeling the class is considered for euthanasia. Couldn't it? Yes. Well, darling, we have the darling mugs. Some people want to know if there are global pandemic mugs. That's a whole other idea, maybe we'll come up with a global pandemic T-shirt or something.
Stick
what
with
I mean?
us. Yes.
Yeah, stick with us because we've got some ideas. But that's so wonderful. I just can't get enough of the yodeling. I don't know why it tickles me so, but it was
We don't know either.
Yeah.
But we like seeing you tickled.
Anyway, I think it's time to bring in our wonderful tech director, Ruby Lochner. Where is she again? Ruby.
Yodeling.
You could be a yodeler, couldn't you?
Yes, she's from Nashville.
Okay. But that's like no. That's like when people say, I was literally just talking about this with a friend today. That's like when people say, oh, you're from Tennessee. No, I'm from Nashville. There is a big difference. First of all, let's just look at the polling results from Nashville versus the rest of Tennessee. But I would not consider myself even 1% a yodeler. So no.
Okay, you're not a coal miner's daughter.
Well, dream big.
Dream big. Yeah.
Dream big is true.
All I want for Christmas is to be a yodeler.
I am telling you though, I might have to listen every week. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry. What can I say? Now
Tune in late, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in late.
No, don't. Ruby, tell us what you've been doing because you're working with, I think, Dylan McDermott or something.
I am. I think I can finally officially really talk about it. Yes, I am working on a very exciting staged reading that is going to be broadcasted next month as a benefit for the Actors Fund, and it's going to be for 4 nights, but we're actually in the process of recording it this week. So it's starring Dylan McDermott, Felicia Rashad. It's a wonderful all-star cast. It's a Tennessee Williams play, which is very exciting. So yes, I have been knee-deep in Zoom meetings all day, every day for the last 2 weeks.
Wow. And do we know the name of this play? Is it one of something that's never done or is
No. So I think I can say it's The Night of the Iguana. So a long play, but a great play. And we start rehearsals very soon.
That is Summer and Smoke and Night of the Iguana are 2 of my absolute favorite Tennessee Williams because they're kind of off the path a little, everyone knows.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they really are brilliant. And there was a brilliant production of Summer and Smoke by the Transport Group not too long ago, I think about 2 years ago or so, maybe 3, but it was brilliant. So Night of the Iguana, fantastic.
Yes, I'm not in it. I'm just the technical producer, but I am very, very excited. So.
All right. Well, this is great. And, Jim, she's just doing it all, isn't she?
She is.
She's got the boyfriend. She's got the dog, Dakota.
Adorable dog.
Adorable dog. She's got everything. Now, also, Ruby, you were kind of bringing up something that you think we should be doing.
Yeah.
A new event?
Yeah, well, we mentioned this right before we went on hiatus before season 2. But I think it's time to officially bring the Win a Date with Halston.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, there we are.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah, we have some rules now too, because I was watching The Dating Game from the 1960s, and we decided maybe we'd like to follow that format a bit.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I have, again, this can all change. Right
Yes.
now, I'm wondering if there are 3 cis gentlemen. Again, this can change, but I don't even know if there are 3 cis gentlemen who watch my show, to be honest.
Maybe some people know some people.
Maybe some of the viewers out there might know a cis male, any age really, I guess, within legality and decent taste. And so I'm just looking for, a socially distanced date. The 2 of you will be our chaperone.
Of course.
Yes.
We were thinking we'd chaperone you at a lovely dinner at Joe Allen.
That would
So
be
even
fantastic.
if it's not going well, we'll know some people in the room to come rescue.
I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Are there any people who are watching now that are cis male? Is there anyone? No.
But what we should do like the Real Dating Game is you're masked,
Yes.
but we all get to see because
But it should be like
the audience to see.
it should be like a fabulous little eye mask like this or something
Yeah.
with lashes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so good. It's so I've got a secret.
It's wispies. It's the wispies.
That's right.
So then you guys all see the 3 cis people.
But you don't, because that would
don't.
ruin it.
And then I ask a slate of questions.
A spate, if you will.
Slate of questions. And then through their answers, I will choose
I like
one
this.
of them for the date. Now, if you noticed, no one has said that
No,
they're
dead silence.
We have not
Yeah,
received any comments
silent.
as of yet.
Yeah, okay. But now they can, of course, how can they get in touch? They can, if they want to do this. There it is. Yes, there it is. If you have
But
any
no details in
No
the
details.
email.
No, just maybe
No pictures.
name, no pictures, no details, just the
I
name.
know a guy.
Yeah, so we can
Or you
put
could even say you could even just say send this directly to Ruby and Julie. You can forward it to me. And that way I have all the information that I'll need.
Okay, all right. I think it's
Right.
fascinating that there's utter silence. Oh, you should totally hit up BB Winans. Well, there was chemistry there, and there was. That's a whole other thing.
Julie, you could be the queen of gospel music. I knew it
thank
would
God.
happen.
What? Come on now, couldn't I? I could wear some Dynel wigs.
You could yodel.
Well,
Yodeling for God.
have your agent send out a breakdown. Thank you, Max. I love it. I love it. It is a riot because not one cis male or cis straight males. Oh, well, wait. Oh, cis straight males. We're going to start with that, right?
She needs a straight man. Could we just say that
We're going to
without getting in trouble?
start with that. It may change and it may expand.
Oh.
It may change, it may expand. I'm open. We're going to talk to Margaret about that too.
Okay, but first I think we should start with what you know first, and then
That's what I know. I
and
know.
then we'll graduate.
I know straight men, and I know their bodies, and I know my body, and that's all I'm going to say right now. So
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
I think we said more than enough.
I think we have for a chaperone date at Joe Allen's. We've already gone.
Jim, I can just picture you and I as Julie chaperone sitting at another table with our menus, hiding our faces and occasionally.
With holes in the menus so we can look.
Yes.
We'll work it out. And we'll take the cameras with us.
It's going to be fantastic. Eric Perry signed me up, except that I know Eric Perry. He's not a cis straight male. No. I love him to pieces. And quite frankly, I might want to date Eric Perry. He's gorgeous,
Okay.
He's a wonderful guy. But
Well, Eric seems interested.
Yeah, no, it's true. There may be changes afoot. Changes afoot. Well, anyway, that's fantastic. Eating a cookie plate. That's right. Guys, this is fantastic. I love all the comments, but really, guys, if you're out there, win a date with Julie. We're going to go to Joe Allen's. There it is. Okay, and we'll see if anyone is interested.
Is brave enough.
Yeah, and is brave enough. Ruby, as always, you are in the forefront of all things. You are just the most beautiful, in demand. You have it all. You really do. Bye, Ruby.
Bye.
She is so annoying, Jim.
I know. Very perky.
Very perky. She's always
She's like the Mary Richards of the show.
She really is. She's always pleasant. She's always beautiful. Her hair is just, I kind of hate her.
And behaving.
I kind of hate her. I mean, I'm glad she's with us, but she just makes me feel so inadequate. Well, no, I adore her. I'm kidding. I absolutely love her. Why are we doing this? I'm just going to mention again, if you're watching, if you're enjoying the yodeling, the dating, Ruby, Jim, please feel free. Venmo, PayPal, that's the way you can tip us. And we can send a portion. There we are. And we can send a portion to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. As you know, that is near and dear to my heart. I think we're going to bring our guest on. Don't you think? It really is time.
I'm such a fan.
She's so special and so alluring for so many reasons. I've been rewatching all her work the last week. And, people go, oh, she's so brave. And she's so, what I loved about watching her shows and whatnot, her humanness, but also she's very skilled. That's what it is. You can be outrageous. You can be brave. You can talk about a lot of things. If you're not skilled about what you're saying, I lose interest quickly. Do you know what I mean? She's so skilled. And I was so delighted that we just worked together on this film. I've been a fan for so long. I haven't seen her since the 90s in person. So it was just delightful to see her again and to work with her. And, let's just bring her on. Welcome, everyone, the great Margaret Cho. Darling, how are you?
Hi.
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 Are you enjoying? Oh, there's Lucia. One of the things Charles Bush loved so much is when you spoke Korean to Lucia.
Lucia. She does. She only gets the Korean if she's being bad. Then she gets her Korean name is Cho Rucha, which is Cho Rucha. When she's doing something bad. She doesn't get it very much, but every once in a while, she was only bad that last day because I think when I'm close by and she knows she can hear me, then she wants to whine because she wants to be right next to me.
That's
and
right.
We were right there. We're trying to shoot, and it was the only time she was bad, but she was really good for most of the movie.
She was very good, and she was very good with other people handling her. Now, how long have you had her, Margaret?
I've had her. She's almost 2 years old. Let's not push it. It's a year and 11 months.
Okay. Okay. And so, where'd you get her?
She's from the Found Animal Foundation. It's the Michelson's Found Animal. It's a rescue. It's a dog rescue here. Well, I think they rescue all animals, but they're from a kill shelter. Her and her mom and her litter mates. And so they all got rescued, and she came to me, and I'm so lucky because she's the best dog.
Oh no, she really was. She was wonderful. It was really nice for us to have her around because it was such a strange situation. I mean, as you know, we were masked and shielded, and we couldn't even eat dinner together. Everyone was so socially distanced, and we sort of had a bit of the COVID Nazis. No, guys. You're too near each other, but we all stayed safe.
Yes.
And it was nice to have, her kind of running around a little bit, and everyone, it just brought a sort of human quality, or a sort of a warmth to the set. Did you enjoy playing the rather elegant, but how would you describe your character, Doris Pang?
She is, I think she's kind of like the scary people from Vogue. Like, she's got that kind of Grace Coddington, Iris Apfel kind of like stylista vibe. Just a serious structural style maven who's everything's about aesthetics and also money, and just kind of one of the sort of villains. But I don't know if there's an actual villain. I mean, there isn't exactly a villain. The villain is maybe time, or
yes. No, because all these kooky characters, and I should tell people when this movie comes out, and I'll be 80 by then, but it has such an extraordinary cast, like Andre DeShields and Tim Daly and yourself and Katie Huffman, Richard Beacons. Oh my goodness, it was just Dee Hoadie, and it was just Patrick Page is in it. I mean, it was such a great cast, and
great cast, such a funny cast too, such a funny script, and it just really gets to the heart of that kind of like indie New York comedy that I've been missing. We don't really see movies like this, and so I'm really excited to be a part of it. It was so fun. It was so fun to shoot with you, and we had to be socially distanced, but we got to hang out.
And Charles had told me that he always wanted you. Did you just get this call from out of the blue, as it were? And
well, I got the script, and I'm of course a longtime fan of Charles, as anybody who follows drag and culture and San Francisco and all of this sort of stuff. And I know that he's friends with Ryan Lander, who you're also friends with. So it's kind of this thing of like, of course I want to do this. And I read it, and it was so funny, and I'm just so excited to do it. It was really great.
That is the wonderful thing. I mean, I've done so many things with Charles, and when I read this script, because, I read all the scripts that he writes, basically, because I'm always working with him. The fact that I can read a new script of Charles, because I know so much of what he's going to be doing. And when he says, okay, you're going to play this, I even know the way, like how he's even the syntax of like the sentences, because he writes for me. Right. That I can still laugh out loud. I mean, literally out loud going, okay, this is so good. And then when I knew that you were involved, and Andre or whatever, and I was picturing all of us like doing this, I was like, okay, I'm on board here. This is really, really good. I don't know, we can talk about this, but I have to say, I never really found my voice as a performer, and even as a human being in many ways, until I got involved with the gay community. I always talk about this when the few times I'm interviewed, is that Charles Busch was sort of like, the most important professional person in my life. And then my late husband was the most important person in my personal life. And the fact that we all knew each other was a wonderful gift. But you also are such an icon in the LGBTQ plus community. And did you also find that you found a lot of your voice through?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I found a lot of safety and sanity and joy and laughter in the gay community. I think that because I feel like the gay people in my life really understood what true beauty was. It was like they can really see what true beauty is, and it's really important to recognize, and not just in, like their lives, but in the world, and they can tell you what to pay attention to, like what movies to watch, and what to listen to, and what art to enjoy, and what photographers you should be like thinking about. And, so I learned so much about art and life from the gay men in my life, pretty much. I mean, it was mostly men, and then later women, but mostly men.
Yeah, me too. And also, it was really Charles who'd be the one to say, stop being like afraid of being you, stop, you're a ballsy gal, you're a loudmouth blonde. We can work with this, we can work with this. And it was really helpful. Can we go back a little bit? Because I've done so much research on you because, I was really gobsmacked of how I haven't seen you in so long, Margaret, and I've seen your work over the years, but I went back and I remember reading, I guess it was maybe in your Wikipedia page or an article about how, the experience of the sitcom of All American Girl, whom, of course, you worked with Judy Gold and Maddie Corman, two of my dear, dear friends. And I found this picture of you. There it is. Look at you.
Oh, wow. It's so funny.
Well, and there's BD and
Look
Jody.
at BD's hair and Jody. Yes, and Clyde.
First of all, you're the cutest. You're so adorable. And meanwhile, Gail Berman is telling you you get rid of the moon face or something. I mean, what?
No, I mean, it was really, I think it had more to do with the fact that they'd never sort of seen Asian faces on TV. So this was the first time that we're sort of even like going past this idea of, oh, what does an Asian American family look like? And also my age was a little bit difficult too, because I wasn't a child actor and I wasn't necessarily an adult actor either. So like that kind of like early 20s, like Friends hadn't appeared yet. We premiered the same season as Friends. So we hadn't even thought about what does young adulthood look like? Because either you're a mom or you're a kid. They didn't have that sort of, it's almost like before teenagers in a way.
Yes. But also, how do, these, let's say it, these sort of middle-aged or 30s white executives view an Asian family?
Well, it was more that they were like trying to figure out how we were going to be received by the public or where they were going to put us in their mind. Like, how do you watch a show and sort of think about the way that this family's portrayed? And, it was a very different thing. To be the first is always really hard. And I never really understood that, but now, of course, I do. It was really strange. But that time we thought we were going to have more of an Asian American presence in entertainment because that year our show came on and then the Joy Luck Club was a big hit. Yeah. And so we thought, okay, well, this is going to be the entry point of Asian Americans in television and movies, but that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I remember when Charles and I were doing a show out at Sag Harbor, one of the curators of the Bay Street Theater wanted to do this Asian film festival at 11 o'clock at night at the Bay Street Theater in like in the Hamptons. And I was like, is there a large Asian community in Sag Harbor that's going to come out at 11 o'clock at night to see Anna Mae Wong? I just, the whole thing. And of course, it didn't materialize. It was great. It was a well-intentioned, but I
like the idea, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It was hard because it was like, how are you selling these tickets? And, there you are in like the sort of, it really is sort of still the whitest area of the world, East Hampton, unless you're like the gay men and us going to see Grey Gardens. Do you know what I mean? So it was very strange, but it never materialized. But I would imagine that must have been very, very difficult for you. And obviously it was, because then you came up with your incredible show, I'm the One I Want. And I do urge anyone who has not seen any of Margaret's work to see her work, but also there it is. And it was so incredible. And you really did talk about all the struggles that you went through, your body issues, sexual issues, show business, How
show
do you,
business, so much show business. So
Yeah.
it's all show business kind of stuff, just trying to sort of figure out how to be a comedian and be taken as a comedian when you're a woman. It's always very hard for some reason because you still have to go through what male comedians would never have to face. It's like when you're funny and you're a guy, it's sort of like, okay, well, they can sort of do whatever. And then
yeah.
physical beauty is never kind of something that's quantified for men, but it is certainly for women, and it's really unfair. And it's just something that I think when I was younger, I just wanted approval so badly that I was just willing to do whatever it took. And so, unfortunately, it did not work out. The show didn't work out for me, but it was a good lesson, and I learned to be a better comedian because of it.
Oh, absolutely. And what I think is always hard when things don't work out, sort of like some of the relationships in my life, not only do you learn from them, but it also forces you to face certain truths about yourself, and then you can take that into the work. And that's what a lot of people identify with. Not necessarily all the great things that happened. Sometimes it's all about, holy crap, you went down a real rabbit hole. Well, so did I. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's really helpful.
Yes.
Who do you rely on? Maybe it's Ryan Landry or whoever. Who do you go to when you want to work things out? Or if you have some ideas, whose judgment do you really trust?
I think it's probably, I have a lot of friends who I ask things about, in show business. I used to ask Joan Rivers for a lot of advice. When she was alive, I would always ask her questions, not just about show business and comedy, but also about relationships and boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever, that was going on. She was always really, there with an ear and a really open heart, which I think is really amazing. I don't know if I hope I'm like that when I get older too, when she was so generous with her time.
I think you're like that now.
Well, that's good.
I don't think you have to be older. I think you're like that now. And Joan was extraordinary. She was a big fan of Charles and myself, and she was always, she'd always show up. She showed up, that's what was so great. And she was so enthusiastic about performers, and she was one of a kind. There really was no one. And also what was so amazing about her was how transformative she was. She did not let moss grow under her feet.
Right.
And that was something that I've had to deal with in the last couple of years, becoming a widow. There's a part of me that's just like, this can't be happening, and just hiding under the covers. And at a certain point, it's like, guess what? There's service. There's service here. And service is about doing your work,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, you do talk a lot about your mom, and I love it when you talk about your mom. And I did watch one of the specials, and your mom did seem very tense when she watches your act. You even mentioned it. And I was thinking to myself, because my mom would get very tense when she would come to Birdland. She would be like, are you going to talk about that? Are you going to mention this? What's going on? And I was like, Mom, I got to go on. You know what I mean? I really know, but what is the scariest thing your mom's ever said to you? I can tell you what.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's really, they become like less scary, like, because she's just the big thing that's in her life right now. She's really upset that I live alone. How can you live alone? How can like that? Like she's like in pain because I'm like living alone, and that's like, to her, that's the biggest fear. But to me, it's the greatest thing ever because I've actually never lived alone, and I realize I love it. and I don't want to stop. Like, I think this is a kind of a perfect situation. I mean, I'm dating somebody, so I get to see him, but I get to live by myself. Like, sleep in the middle of the bed is the best thing.
Yeah,
But my mom hates it.
Yeah. Was she very upset when you got divorced? Because you were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was like destroyed because that's what they value. Like the how can you be in your house by yourself? But it's like, I love to be by myself. I actually really enjoy my own company, which I think I was afraid to do that for my whole life because of my family and because of what my mom was saying. Like, her biggest fear was that you would be alone or you're gonna like end up alone.
Right.
But that's actually the greatest joy.
Well, I remember when my first marriage broke up, my mother said, don't expect any money from me. You've made your bed. This is what she said. You made your bed. I will give you some dishes, which she did. That was all she gave me. My father, of course, was like writing a check for me, which was very sweet. But this is the scariest thing my mother ever said, because I got a facelift, which I've talked about in my act and, you know, whatever. People know that I Botox and I had a facelift. And my mother was so against my getting a facelift. Why are you getting a facelift? Why would you do that to yourself? This is terrible. But meanwhile, I had jowls down to here. So anyway, I look like a founding father, Margaret. But anyway, she was like against it. I finally got the facelift. It turned out great. Then she said to me, oh, well, you should have done it years ago. Thank you, Mom. Wow. Meanwhile, she was the greatest influence on my life, and I had an act because of her. As you know, Judy Gold, we all talk about our moms. It's
yes. It's fun. It is fun. There's ever never ending flow of material from them, which is good.
Yeah. If you're enjoying, by the way, and you're here with us and Margaret, please feel free to tip us. This is how we pay for the platforms. And we also are giving money to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. So please be generous. We love it. We love our viewers. I must tell you, Margaret, we have this really core group, but through Broadway World, we now have thousands and thousands and thousands of people who live stream and then also watch during the week. And it's just fantastic. They're so generous. They're so wonderful. And we love them. So anyway, there you are. Oh, look. Oh, Katie Huffman, who was in our movie with us. She plays, she plays one of the Dwarskins. She's fantastic. Yeah, that is so fabulous. Now, Margaret, you've done so many shows like The Notorious CHO and Assassin. And do you have one that you are particularly fond of, or one that was particularly hard for you to do? Or
I think the one that I'm going to film next when everything is over, so when we're able to get back to some semblance of normal life, then I'll be ready to film a new one, which is Fresh Off the Bloat. Okay. So it'll be all about, I think this time, which I think people will have, I mean, it's hard to think about like what people will think about the pandemic after it's over. I have a feeling that we won't want to go back to a lot of it, but that some of the art will really continue. Some of the art that we've made during the time will survive. So that's the one that I'm most excited about, that will commence again, because I was in the middle of a tour when we had to shut down. So I had another year of doing touring and then was going to film. And so now it's moved to next year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Richard Greenberg, the great playwright Richard Greenberg, and Maddie Corman and I wrote a play together about being quarantined, which has turned into a murder mystery. And we're wondering too, like, will this be the art that survives? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have virtual Halston and, you know, all the things that people are doing. And listen, you know, we may look back on this time and we may be able to tell people like, you have no idea what it's like to wear a mask every day and to do all your work this way. And, you know, it'll be very interesting to see. But I also think it's made people in many ways appreciate, what they have and what they,
Oh yeah.
what's important. And you've
Yeah.
talked so much. You have traveled all over the world. And of course, you're San Francisco's, favorite daughter. But is there a place that you absolutely love to go back to time and time again? Or is there a place that, you go, oh, that was a rough tour, or I didn't like those people?
Well, I always love Paris. I think Paris it's always a trip to go back and do comedy in Paris too, because you just feel like Josephine Baker, or I always feel like Ella Fitzgerald, or some of these sort of like I always feel like a jazz singer, even though I'm not a jazz singer. I always feel like a jazz singer of some kind, Etta James or something, whenever I go to Europe. And I do really love playing Europe, and that's really exciting. And also, I love going to Korea. I love doing shows in Korea, which is also very different too.
Wow. Now that must be amazing. And do you perform in Korean, or is it in English, or both?
In English. But next time I go, I think I'm going to try to do like a bit of half and half. It's a little bit hard because people don't, the English is not as widely spoken as if like, usually if I go to Hong Kong, it's like English is everybody speaks English, or Singapore, of course, everybody speaks English because that's their language there. So it's kind of like this thing of, or even Tokyo's kind of tough too, because it's very, like the stand-up comedy is very big in Japan, but it's all in Japanese.
Right.
So hopefully I can do a combination when I go back to Korea. I did Saturday Night Live when I was there, which they have a version of, which is very exciting in Korea. So hopefully I'll get to do that again.
That is wild. Charles brought Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, I think, to Japan. And of course, they do love the great drag artist. And
oh, yes.
He is a great drag artist. So it was really quite a hit. And he loved it. He loved being there. And, he was kind of revered. So that was, and of course, very beautiful and very elegant. So I was doing another show at that time. So I was actually doing a failed sitcom. So I never got to go. But he always talks about it with great fondness. And then I loved you, and I know Tina Fey has talked about it as one of her fondest memories of 30 Rock, you playing Kim Jong-il. There you are.
Yes, Kim Jong-un. In disguise.
Yeah.
As a waiter. Yes, that was fun.
That
show is so weird to do because everybody on that show, when I did it, it was such a big star that you ended up only doing scenes with their stand-in until they did their coverage, and they would come in and shoot and then leave. So you were doing everything with their stand-in except for Tina Fey. Tina Fey was there from, because she was head writer too. So she's like writing everything. And so then she wanted to be there for every part of your scenes. So, but that was, I had fake Alec Baldwin's for everything until he did his coverage.
Oh,
and then it was the real one. And then it was gone.
Is wild. And you were Emmy nominated for it. Did you go to the Emmys?
I did. I brought my parents, and I was sad not to win, but it's still exciting to go and to be nominated.
Who did you lose to?
Kathy Bates, which is,
okay.
Fine.
Yeah. All right. But you were brilliant. And well, I know Alec actually pretty well, and he's a big personality. He's a big personality, but that is so funny that you were on that. And Tina has talked about it's one of her fondest memories. So that's really great.
Awesome.
Now I have to ask you, because you have some wild and gorgeous tattoos. I think we have a pic of one of, there you are. Look at you.
Quite a few. Yes, there's quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few. I don't get tattoos. You have to tell me about the thrill of tattoos. Now, I have a lot of friends who have tattoos, and I have a number of very close friends who they're like the Illustrated Man. I mean, they really are covered in tattoos. I don't get it. What is the thrill? What's it about?
Well, it comes from what I grew up in when I was growing up in San Francisco. My father owned a gay bookstore, and all of his employees were gay men who had full body tattoos from Ed Hardy and all of the big tattooers. And so they were the people that I kind of raised me. So I always thought, oh, I'll probably be really tattooed when I grow up. And that ended up happening. But I also became friends with a lot of tattooers. And so then when you're hanging around in these tattoo shops, you're going to get a tattoo. It's just kind of the reality of it. And it's just kind of my friends. And but I don't think I'm going to get any more. I don't have any more space. It's hard to get them if you're an actor, because then they start to show, and then they sort of put you in a time and place where you want to be able to transcend that. So I am able to have some bit of deniability with my tattoos, and so I can sort of not show them if I choose to. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, if I were to get a tattoo, what would you suggest I get?
Maybe a little butterfly, or little maybe a tiny like a chrysanthemum, like a small, like mini petaled flower, something like that. Something very flattering and feminine.
Yeah, Jim thought I should maybe get like darling, or something, something in lavender. I don't know. Whatever. I don't get it. And yet my friends who are into it, they just love it. And the artwork is extraordinary. I mean, these are artists. They're
amazing. Yeah. There can be really incredible stuff that it's like almost like these illusions. I also like it for a bit of contouring too. So you can sort of carve out like your body. So when I don't have clothes on, I sort of look more of a hourglass because of the way that my tattoos are laid out. So a little bit of subterfuge.
Do you feel, because I've had body issues as well. I talk about, I was anorexic in the 90s at one point. But do you feel, I mean, I just worked with you. Your body looks fabulous. I mean, how do you feel these days about your body?
I feel good. I mean, I think that really what's sad is that I never really appreciated where I was when I was younger, because I always thought I was fat. I always thought I was to this, to that, whatever. And now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I was so gorgeous. And I could have done whatever. If I had had that kind of knowledge or understanding of my own power as a young woman, I could have really taken it, but I didn't know. We don't know. We never know.
No, we never know. It is fascinating, though, when I have met people who are, certifiably gorgeous, particularly when they're younger. There is a kind of insouciant confidence that comes with that. Because let's face it, they've been told since they were 3 days old, you're gorgeous, you're gorgeous. Now, that doesn't mean they shouldn't develop other skills. They might want to develop a few skills, not just stand there. But there is a kind of wonderful confidence that comes from that. And, oh, man, I certainly never had it. But, it's because beauty is its own reward in many ways. But you're absolutely right. I look back sometimes at things, I see, pictures. I mean, I can tell you flat out, my late husband was very good looking. High cheekbones, blue eyes, shock of, salt and pepper hair. Women always perked up whenever he'd enter the room, and of course they'd get disappointed when I said, hello, I'm his wife, and I would be like, but he did have a kind of confidence that he carried with him because he knew he was good looking. And I wish I had that too. I mean, it's really quite something. Now I have to ask, I've never seen it, and I'm going to bring Jim in because I think he can talk about this. The Masked Singer.
Yes.
Singer. Is it a show that was started in Korea?
It started in Korea. It's a very big hit in Korea. And it was brought over to America. And I did the first season of it. And it's really strange to sing inside of a mask because you're taking away the context away from the singer. So you realize how much context is about a voice, and that when we take away sort of all of these ideas of who a person is, then when their voice is just judged as a voice, it's a very different kind of thing. So I had a good time. It was fun, but it was a weird thing, and you can't hear anything. So it's except your own voice. So it's a very isolating thing to be. And my snout was really long and really echoey. It's such a weird show, but it was really fun.
Well, let me bring Jim in. And Jim, Jim is not able to. Are you still here? Because he's going to run to another virtual event, Margaret.
No, but this conversation is so great. I love this so much. I loved what you said about body issues. That was fantastic. Because boy, we all have them.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
And I love the concept of the masked singer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it's like inside that head. Is
it's
it nightmarish?
Very
is it hot?
Strange. It's very hot, but it's also very weird because you can't hear yourself, and you can only hear yourself, or you can't hear what it sounds like on the microphone, and they give you no reverb or anything, so it's very dry. It's the strangest thing, but it's really isolating, but it's really fun. And it's really an interesting show to be on. And they keep you separated from the other people in costume so far that sometimes when you see the other people in costume, it's actually a stand-in in the costume. So they don't want anybody communicating at all,
Oh, I see.
which is very interesting.
But wait, what's the winner do? I mean, what is it that you're supposed to stump them every week?
Well, you're supposed to, there's a process of elimination. So the other masks get eliminated and then they finally guess who you are. And you're supposed to stump the judges to figure out who you are, and that's always like a very weird thing too, because they usually have no idea. So that's really funny.
So they ask questions of like this person is from San Francisco or something. Would that be a question?
Yes, that would be a question. And you can only answer yes or no. And also they have these like clue packages where there's sort of like little clues like planted in. What's so great about it is that you get to shoot all of those things without you, just that they just take the costume and run with it. So there's a lot of stuff that they shoot without you.
Oh,
that's
wow.
just done with the costume itself, which is the best. So that's really
great.
Fun
just
too.
Send the costume.
Just send the costume. Just send the poodle.
Jim was saying to me that if I did the show, first of all,
You're not allowed, Julie.
I wouldn't be allowed.
One word from you, darling. Oh, it's Julie Halston.
They'd know in 5 seconds. They wouldn't
The gay population in New York City would be like, oh, it's Julie.
Oh, it's Julie Halston. They'd get it immediately. I wouldn't even make it. I'd make it in the costume for 5 seconds. That would be it. That would be it.
Oh.
Yeah, and you've done a few of these kind of things like Dancing with the Stars and the Masked Singer. I look at that and I would rather have a nervous breakdown in Payne Whitney than have to be on Dancing with the Stars. How did you learn to samba and this and that? And
it's so hard. I thought that was a really hard show to do because you're really competing. Also, you're competing along with athletes, that are physically perfect people who can do anything. And then the dancers, your dancer instructor is also an athlete. So it's a lot of eating food out of little containers. It's a lot of like little containers and a lot of wrapping my feet. My feet were like bleeding every day. Like I've never trained so hard for anything. It was really crazy.
Mary Lou Henner was on our show and she was on Dancing with the Stars and she's like a dancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just, wow. It was like
hard.
Climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, it is. It is so much activity because I think they actually cap off like you're only allowed to dance for 6 hours a day. And I'm like, what do you mean only? Like that's a lot.
Okay, I'm telling you, I would be in Payne Whitney. I would be in I'd be in the dunes. I'd be in every rehab that was ever, no, it would just be, and you must have had to like soak your feet every night. And
I mean, it was really exhausting, but it did help me. It gave me a jump start in wanting to be more physically fit. And I think because of that, I did it almost 10 years ago now. I've still sort of maintained a pretty good exercise regimen, because it's like so hard to get started in exercise. When you do it, you just don't want to let it go because it's just
that's
too
true.
hard.
Yeah.
So it did give me a good head start, but it was rough.
Oh, no, I can't imagine that you did it. Darling, so what's going to be for the future now? What's your latest? You've got a new show that you're going to be doing.
Yes. I have a couple of other movies that I'm going to do before the end of the year. So that's good. That are just going to start shooting. And so I have a horror movie and then another sort of a bigger budget, very, very big budget movie. So that's at the end of the year. And then next year, hopefully we'll be able to go out on tour again. I'm doing a show actually Sunday with Judy Gold on online, so that'll be on Cabaret. That's sort of a fun thing.
Yeah.
So some comedy stuff here and there. I think I'm doing actually a live set in a parking lot at the Magic Castle here in LA.
Judy has told me that she does, when the people use their lights and they honk their horns and
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's pretty active. I'm cooking in a lot of clay pots. Now I've moved from you were there when I was in the clay pot section of my craziness. Now I'm in the pizza stone area.
Okay.
Oh, am I going for the whole pizza stone, pizza steel area?
Okay. I was doing a lot of homemade soups for a while.
Ooh,
and
yummy.
it was very comforting. And then now I'm kind of like, maybe I will do some takeout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you were also going online and doing a lot of ceramic shopping, if I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much ceramic. I was doing a lot of ceramics. I bought donabis, which are the Japanese cooking pots. So I have one. I have like a setup now, so I don't even have to get up to use the stove. I can cook everything on the table, which I'm very excited about. And so it's pretty good eating here anyway.
Have you ever made food for your mom?
Oh, she doesn't like it. She's like, this too salty. This too salty. I think it's too salty. I cannot. This is too salty. I don't like it. Everything's too salty. So I have to hold back. I have a heavy hand with salt.
Yeah,
and any kind of.
Yes, yeah. And I just have one more question. Did your dad write joke books or he just sold them? He wrote joke books.
Yeah, he wrote joke books, and he was more of he was sort of more like an archivist. So he would write these joke books as kind of a collection for speakers. So you could take the book when you're writing a speech and look for a joke in there, and then use that would be appropriate for speeches and gatherings. So different kind of joke teller.
Yeah, to help the crowd sort of warm up a little or a little.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, our hour is up, honey. Our hour is up. That's it. That's it.
Well, I love you. I miss you. This is going to be great. But I can't wait to see the movie with you.
I know. I was going to say we have to do, we'll have to do like the opening in San Francisco, the opening in LA, the opening in New York. And we'll have lots of different fashion things to talk about. Like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
I know. Absolutely. For sure.
Elegant taste. And I think a lot of your clothes ended up in the film, right?
Yes. I just got the box back. I haven't even unpacked it yet, but it's all the stuff that I brought over for the movie. So I'm glad that I got to actually have my clothes in it, which is nice.
And then we have to just put Lucia up there. Look at that baby. Lucia!
Little baby.
Lucia.
Little girl.
Oh, we love her. We love her.
She's a good girl.
Well, honey, I'll be in touch. Gudrun, I'll just call you Gudrun.
Okay.
I love Gudrun. And anyone who doesn't know, look up the movie Women in Love. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
That's my nickname for you. And it was wonderful seeing you. I miss you.
Great to see you. I miss you.
Movie. And good luck with all the new ventures. Keep in touch.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye, sweetheart. Next week we have Bill Pullman. We have Bill Pullman. There he is. Don't miss it. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
What more is there to say?